What's up? What's good, fam? Hope you are all having a superb week. Well, if not, the YPG fam is out here to take good care of you. And on today's Something Extra, we're going to be speaking about how such a simple item, yes, I'm sure it's brought you your curiosity, especially from the promo we brought up, about the spoon of liberty. What does this have to do with our lives? A simple item as a spoon, which we use to scoop up our food, put it in our mouth and chew and go back and do that back and forth, and how that can have such an amazing effect in our lives. And I want to use this opportunity to already tell you guys, make sure that you get everyone you know to get this link. If not now, immediately after, that you send it to someone, because it's going to be quite an interesting story we're going to share with you. And I'm pretty sure that this will make you to understand how the smallest efforts can actually make an immense difference in our lives. So make sure that you do grab this link and that you share it, you make it spread, you make it go viral, because what we're going to be sharing is so important for everybody's lives. Now, what I want you to do is watch this short clip, this short video about the story of these three men and how a spoon was resourceful for them to achieve what they wanted to achieve. Now, I'm not here promoting what they did. I'm not here promoting the event which it took place, but I am, baffled by the fact that they could use something so simple and actually find their liberty out of prison with the simple item, the spoon. It is so amazing. So I repeat, I'm not here condoning their escape from prison, as you're going to see, but I am here to share the insight on how they thought. Although their methods were good, the execution was superb, it was unfortunately for a bad cause. But what if we take this execution and the lessons which we learn from them, using it for something positive? Let's check it out, and we're going to be right back. Don't move. Pay attention.
Stop believing that Alcatraz is inescapable. This notorious prison, often dubbed The Rock, was designed to be the ultimate fortress, a place where the most dangerous criminals were sent to be forgotten. But even the most secure prisons have their weaknesses. 3 inmates proved it wrong in 1962. This daring escape has since become one of the most legendary prison breaks in history, capturing the imagination of people worldwide. In the dead of night, under the watchful eyes of guards, Frank Morris and brothers John and Clarence Anglin made history. These men were not just ordinary inmates, they were determined, resourceful, and incredibly brave. Using nothing but spoons, they dug through the concrete walls of their cells. It took months of meticulous planning and hard work, chipping away at the walls bit by bit, night after night. That's right, spoons. These simple tools became their lifeline to freedom, a testament to their ingenuity and determination. To keep the guards off their trail, they crafted dummy heads out of soap, toilet paper, and real human hair. These heads were so lifelike that they managed to deceive the guards during their routine checks. These fake heads were placed in their beds, fooling the guards during nighttime checks. The guards, thinking the inmates were sound asleep, had no idea that an escape was underway. But escaping the cells was just the beginning. The real challenge lay ahead as they navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the prison. They climbed up a utility corridor and left no trace behind. This was a critical part of their plan, as any sign of their escape could have led to immediate capture. Once on the roof, they slid down a vent pipe, careful to avoid the ever-patrolling searchlights. The darkness of the night was their ally, providing cover as they made their way to the next phase of their escape. Then they faced their most dangerous challenge: the icy waters of San Francisco Bay, the treacherous currents and freezing.
What an intriguing story. I don't know if you heard about Alcatraz. If you did history in school, or you do history, you probably have heard of Alcatraz being one of the scariest prisons back in its days. And I mean, considering the fact that it is literally an island, so the fact that they had to swim out. Well, I didn't play the whole story. Rumor has it that they possibly died because of the tides there. Others say that no, they didn't die, that they actually made it alive. There are many theories, but the fact is they managed to escape their rooms using a spoon. This is so interesting because the first thing I want us to stop and think about is imagine imagine people speaking to someone that they want to escape a prison cell and somebody says, "Here you go, use a spoon." Using something as simple as a spoon. That just goes to show that although they did not have the necessary resources for that great escape, what they had at their disposal available to them was a spoon. And they used exactly that for them to accomplish what they were willing to accomplish. PJ, what does that have to do with me? What does that have to do with our lives today? I'm not trying to escape a prison, and a spoon will probably not help me with what I want to accomplish right now. I get you. What I'm trying to say is you might have the least or the minimum resources for what you want to achieve in life. However, if you use the resources the right way, you will be able to accomplish something great. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys 3 simple steps. Usually there are steps here in the Something Extra, but today I'm going to share with you just 3 simple steps which I need you to apply for you to understand that if you do this, something as simple as a spoon or whichever item it may be, that can be more than resourceful to change your life and give you the freedom, give you the liberty you want, the liberty of success, because success is liberty on its own. Victory is liberty on its own. So the first step I want to share with you is take it one step at a time. Now, they did not directly jump into things. They did not directly do it all at once, but it was one step at a time. It was not something which they, could immediately jump out and they were trying to, they had to plan it. Firstly, they planned it meticulously. They planned it. I repeat, they did not plan that great escape, that prison break, something which is to be condoned, honestly speaking. But the fact is they had an objective, and their objective was, we want to get out of this prison. So one step at a time, they planned it. They noticed what resources they were going to use. They stopped and they look, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. The guards are going to do this. So everything was meticulously planned, perfectly planned. But it was one step at a time. There were phases towards what they were going to do. So it was not just all at once. And unfortunately, in our microwave time, of which I'm going to speak about time shortly, that'll be the third step, it's interesting how oftentimes we want things to be there the way we want it, how we want it, and when we want it. I want you to understand that for everything, every process in life, the word itself, process, means that time will be taken and steps need to be followed. You didn't leave grade 1 and jump straight to matric. You didn't leave grade 1 and jump to grade 5 and from grade 5 right through to varsity. There was a process. From grade 1 you went to 2, from 2 you went to 3, and so forth. Then you got to matric, where you knew that you had to take it seriously, where you really had to give it your all, or you were doing that right now if you're in matric, or you're trying to get to matric. The fact is, everybody is taking their step towards something. And I want you to stop ignoring the baby steps towards something, because the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a simple step. Even if you can't take many steps towards that, even if you can't take a huge leap towards what you want to achieve or where you want to reach in life, the fact is you need to take that first step. And without the first step, there will be no step 2, 3, 4, 5, and all the ones that sequence the first. The fact is you're going to have to start with that first step. What is the first step? Is it maybe waking up earlier? Is it actually being someone more helpful? Is it being more responsible? Is it being a little bit more serious with the things which perhaps you haven't been taking serious? Is it perhaps being a little bit more organized, a bit more tidy with certain things? I don't know what it is. Maybe you might say, PJ, what I want to achieve is long way long. I'm very far from what I want to achieve. That's okay. It's one step at a time. You're not going to jump from where you are right now straight into it. But what are the steps that you can take in order to get closer to it? What are the steps that you can take which will lead you closer, even if I repeat, even if it is one single step? Even if every day you will take one step towards it, that's okay. What are the steps you are actually taking to lead you towards what you want to achieve, what you want to acquire, the destination you want to reach? So don't forget the step. It's essential, it's pivotal in the success of any human being. One step at a time. Take it a step at a time. Don't jump into things. Don't just think that you're going to dive towards where you want to and ta-da, you're going to wake up there where you want to. That's not how it's going to be. It is a step at a time. What is the step you can take today? Take it today. Take it now if possible. Got it? Now let's move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is use what you have. Use the resources you have. Remember when we spoke about the fact that they used a spoon, for crying out loud? Imagine how ridiculous that might have sounded them trying to tell and convince maybe other inmates. I doubt they did that because obviously the others maybe they did even try to say that to others and they were like, that's ridiculous. How am I going to use a spoon to dig, to get out of concrete? Well, that's exactly what they used. At times, we don't have everything we need. At times, what you need is money. What you need is a signature. What you need is a simple resource or a certain resource for you to be able to get what you want to get. What is the resource you do have? I have nothing. No, you do have. Maybe the resource you have is researching towards what you want. A simple example, maybe you want to start a business and you say, I don't have any capital. I don't have any means of getting there. I have no direction towards it. Maybe you could start planning now. Maybe you could start planning now. Doesn't matter. Remember, one step at a time. That's one step. Maybe you're really far from starting that business. You're still in high school. You're still studying. You don't even know how you're going to get there. Use your resources. What do you have now? What you have now, use it now. What you have at this moment, take advantage of it. Maybe what you have right now, it's one thing and one thing only. It's time. Well, use it to your advantage. And I'm going to talk about time shortly. That's included in step number 3. But hold up. The fact is, whatever you have, use it now. A lot of people tend to think that they need that opportunity given to them. And I'm sorry to say this, I'm sorry to break this one to you, but not always will that opportunity be handed to us. Sometimes you're going to have to make the opportunity. They could not wait for the opportunity for them to make that escape. What they had to do is use what they had. What did they have? What did they have? They had a spoon. And that's exactly what they used. What is your spoon right now? Like I said, your spoon might be time. Your spoon might be the time that is handed to you, which perhaps you spend a lot of that time on TikTok, making challenges, scrolling through your phone, whereby, I repeat, there's nothing wrong for you to do that, but perhaps the time you could be using to your advantage, to your leverage, you're allowing it to be used against you. Or the money you have, it might be a little bit of money which you could be saving, but you just splurge with that money. You just splurge all that cash because you think it's too little compared to what I need. I need 1,000,000 rands for me to obtain what I want to obtain, and all I have is this 10 rands. With that 10 rands, you can make it resourceful because 1,000,000 rands is made up of many 10 rands, and you've got at least 1 or 2 or 3. Doesn't matter how many you have. How can you use your resources better? Do your research. How can you use your resources better? Maybe the only resource you have towards what you want to achieve is the internet. Maybe it is YouTube, searching, making research, Wikipedia, making the research towards what you want to achieve, Googling what you want to achieve. I don't know, AIing whatever you want to achieve, just so you have a little bit of knowledge towards, to bring you closer. It is one single step using the resource that is given to you. Or maybe you've been using that resource carelessly. You've been using that resource recklessly. Like I'm giving the example now of time, or the example of the internet, which perhaps when you do have data, you use up your data making useless challenges, wasting your time and your data on things which aren't bringing you any closer towards your dream, but rather taking you further and further away. So use your resources and use them wisely. I'm saying resources, but maybe your resources is singular. Maybe all you have is that single resource. Maybe it's only researching or asking from those who are in that game. When I say in that game, as in involved in that one thing you want to achieve. Researching, finding out how can you be more familiar? How can you become more familiar towards that which you want to achieve? So work on it. Use your resources. Use what you have. All you have is a spoon, but that spoon is enough for you to dig through that concrete and start. Remember, it was not a huge blow at once, but it was one step at a time, using what they had. It was a spoon. That spoon led them to their liberty. And that spoon which you have, not literally a spoon, I don't know what your spoon is specifically what you have to use for you to get to where you want to get. The liberty of victory, the liberty of success, which is what you, what I, what each and every one of us want. What do you have? Use it to the best of your ability. Now, on to step number 3. Work with time, not against time. What does this mean? You know, one of the craziest things we do in life is not respect time, is not understand how important, how powerful, how, I don't know, how everything revolves around time. I know at 4 p.m. we need to be live here for something extra. I know that in due time I need to send through to our editor the program so that they can edit and put all these effects you guys see, these GIFs and so forth, and the music playing in the background, and ensuring the lower thirds and everything you guys see. That all works with time. Everything in our lives work with time. Now might not be the time you will be able to obtain that which you want to obtain. But what are you doing with your time for you to be able? Remember, we spoke about this. But working with time and working against time is essential, because you can work with time leading you to step number 1 and step number 2, leading you to get a step closer towards what you want, and number 2, leading you to use your resources or find the resources of what you need to obtain what you want. Work with time. And understand that it's not going to happen from one moment to the next. Those prisoners, they had the objective of being out of those walls, but they dug and dug and dug and dug and kept digging for months and months. In some cases, what we want will take us years and years and years. There are certain things which we will not obtain it from dusk to dawn, but there are things which we're going to achieve them with a lot and a lot and a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of resources, a lot of failures, a lot of everything. So take advantage of time. Use time as your ally. Don't make time your enemy. You make time your enemy, I'm sorry to say this, but failure is imminent. Failure is certain. Failure is something that will be inevitable in your life. So use your time as a resource. Use your time with you. Use your time to your advantage. What do I have to do in this meantime? For example, what I want to do, I can only do it after I graduate, but I'm still in varsity. I repeat, remember, going back to the resources, they all work in conjunction. With this time that you have from now, you're in grade 10, for example, it might take you another 6-7 years until you can actually get what you want to get. You want to become, get into the medical industry and so forth. What can you do right now with your time that will be useful and resourceful, that will be a step closer towards what you want to achieve, so that when you are closer to it, you don't have to run back and say, oh, yes, I missed out on this, but you're already ahead of time. I want you to think about that. I want you to ask yourself before this day ends, have I been working with time or have I been working against it? Because the worst thing is when you accumulate a lot of things and run out of time. When you accumulate many to-dos and when you realize you don't have time to get the other things done or most of the things done, or at least get everything done and well done, because unfortunately you misused your time. So let's go back through to the 3 steps just once again. Take things one step at a time. One step at a time. You're not going to wake up in it. It's one step at a time. And sometimes it feels like the more steps you take, the farther away you are getting from it. But even if the time and experience is the lesson you get, experience is already a step closer towards what you want. Number 2, use what you have. Use the resources you have. You don't have on your lap everything you want, but what you do have, you can use it to your advantage. And step number 3, work with time, not against it. So I want you to take these 3, measure it towards that objective you have. You know, the other day we went to a school, and it's not the only school I've been to where I got this answer. There have been quite a few others where people will say, PJ, my dream is to become a businessman. Like, okay, cool. And then you ask them, what business are you into? And they don't have an answer. I don't know any business. I'm sorry. You're not taking it one step at a time, because you're not taking any step towards it if you don't have a plan. You are not being resourceful because the resources are there of planning or starting something and you're not doing anything at all. And time, well, it's not working to your advantage, because if the opportunity comes for you to even start a business, you don't even have a plan, for crying out loud. So I want you to consider that. Take some time still today and ask yourself with these 3 questions, with these 3 points rather, which one is lacking? Which one of the 3, or maybe all 3 are lacking? And if you say, PJ, I have been on point with all 3, then don't stop. Remember, it's going to take place one step at a time. You're one step closer every single day. Every moment you're driving yourself closer to your dreams. Number 2, keep using your resources. And if you can add more resources, it might be a simple advice from someone. That's already an awesome resource. And number 3, respect time. That's one thing you can't fast forward and you can't rewind. You can do it virtually on your watch, but that's not going to change the universal watch and the watch of life. It's too short. Use it resourcefully and use it to your advantage. Got it? I hope this topic and the something extra was helpful to all of you. And I would like to know if you have been using this to your advantage. I'd like to know if any of these have been really a struggle for you. And if you would like our help, then DM us, get in touch with us. You know, we are a family and we want to lead you to reach your dreams. Last Saturday on the Vibe O'Clock, I couldn't be with you guys, but Uncle Vinny was speaking about the graveyard mentality. And if you were with us, we also touched base on it in our last mega hangout at the grounds, of which, by the way, you're invited to join us this Sunday again. But yeah, we were speaking about it, and we're going to carry on. We're not done with that theme. We're not done with that topic. And that works in conjunction with what we're talking about, because we want you, as the YPG fam, to be winners in life, to be winners in all the areas of your lives. Of course, there will always be hardships. There will always be challenges. There will always be setbacks. There will always be things to try to hold us back from reaching where we want to reach. That's where we come in, to be that thrust, to be that push. But sometimes we're not always going to be available for that. So you need to have the right mindset and rid yourself of the graveyard mentality, because perhaps, for example, step number 2 You say, I don't have any resources. Nevertheless, PJ, you don't know what I'm going through. You don't know how tough things have been. Everything has been against me. Why don't you use your bad experiences to turn the tables? Why don't you use that as a motivator for you to be able to use that as a trampoline? You know how a trampoline is? You know, you sink in, and the lower you sink, the higher you go up. Why don't you use your challenges as a trampoline? This here, which we shared with you about the spoon of liberty, is also something which makes part or forms part of the graveyard mentality. And if you don't take it one step at a time, if you're not resourceful with what you have, and if you work against time, the graveyard mentality is still there and you need to get rid of it. We want you guys to be winners. We want to hear more about you guys. We want to see you guys at the top. We want to see you guys making it. We want to see you guys all over the world and be able to say, that is someone from our YPG fam. But it's going to start now, and it has to start with one step at a time. What are the changes you need to make? Maybe that is something that's missing. It's something you need to stop doing instead of something you need to start doing. Guys, ladies, the ball is in your court. All right, that's it from me. I'm going to be signing out. With those of you who are in any of our branches, talk more about it, have a young discussion. If there's still time permits, maybe even a young debate about it. If not today, then you can have it another day. But I want you to also make that personal introspection and ask yourself, which of these three steps or these three principles towards my liberty, in other words, my success, am I lacking? Those three men did it for a bad cause. They did it. They were prisoners. They were convicts. They were people who did something wrong, and they managed to get out because they had the right mindset. Although for wrong, they had the right mindset. They had the right mentality. Their mindset was not in the graveyard, at least not for them to escape that place. So escape the graveyard mentality and escape the place you've been stuck in, the mindset you've been stuck in, stopping you from being where you deserve to be. All right. So that's it from us. We meet again this Saturday at 7 p.m. with the fam. And you know exactly what time it is. It is that time. It's time for us to take off. Let's do that. Take care of yourselves. We're out of here.